What's up? I'm James.
I'm Leanna.
And you're listening to Perseverance to Prevail podcast. And this is going to be the first episode of Dark Days.
Boom, boom, boom.
Today we're going to be talking about body dysmorphia. We're not sure exactly how many Dark Days episodes we're going to do. But it's going to be, I guess, our side episode thingy.
Yeah, it's kind of a it's going to be a little bit of a series, so to speak.
Series, that's the word I was looking for.
I got you. But I would like to just say, a little bit about what you can expect with Dark Days and like our heart behind it. So in this podcast, we want to be completely authentic and transparent and real. And with Dark Days, we are going to dive into some of the like really hard parts of life and things that we struggle with, that we know other people struggle with, and speak from our perspective personally and how we've overcame it or are working on it, and then also share some, just ideas on like how like encourage other people to overcome it, and just be real and like talk about the hard shit.
Yeah. We're not experts by any means, but we're going to share our personal experiences in hopes that it can get you through a tough time, or maybe give you advice on how to handle your situation if it's kind of the same situation and you not know what to do, because I've definitely I've needed it a time or two.
And sometimes it's encouraging just to know, like, oh, other people go through this too. Okay, I'm not alone.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Unfortunately, you're not the only one.
That's right. So, this episode is going to be about body dysmorphia.
Yeah. This is, I think a lot of people struggle with body dysmorphia more so than what they lead on to.
Absolutely. I've actually, when I was doing a little bit of research about it, that's one of the things that kept getting brought up was that, so actually let me just read real quick what body dysmorphia is if you're not familiar with it. This is actually from the Mayo Clinic, and it says body dysmorphic disorder is a mental health condition in which you can't stop thinking about one or more perceived defects or flaws in your appearance. A flaw that appears minor or can't be seen by others, but you may feel so embarrassed, ashamed, and anxious that you may avoid many social situations. When you have body dysmorphic disorder, you intensely focus on your appearance and body image, repeatedly checking the mirror, grooming, or seeking reassurance, sometimes for many hours each day. Your perceived flaw and the repetitive behaviors cause you significant distress and impact your ability to function in your daily life. And I was looking up some statistics, that's a hard word.
Statistics.
About it, and it says like 1.7 to 2.9% of the U.S. population struggle with it, which translates to 5 million to almost 10 million people in the U.S. alone. But like I was saying earlier, everything that I've been reading has said it's most likely much more significant than that, because a lot of people are too embarrassed or ashamed to admit that they have it, or they don't realize that that's what it's called, so they don't talk about it.
Right.
But they are saying, too, it's as common or possibly more common as other mental health conditions like OCD and social anxiety disorder.
I think it is. I think a lot of people don't talk about it as much.
Yeah.
Especially men.
Yeah.
Because men are taught to not bitch and complain, suck it up, or you're fine, and keep moving forward.
Yeah, and I think a lot of men are worried about being perceived as weak, so they don't talk about their struggles that they go through as much as women do. But men are typically a little more transparent about what what they're struggling with. Not always, but
I'm glad you read the definition, because a lot of people, I think, category put the body dysmorphia in the category of weight mostly.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it could be anything from your hair loss to a cleft lip, or
the size of your nose.
The size of your nose, something. You don't like your skin color. You might have that skin disease. I can't remember, like where like it your skin turns different colors.
Yes, my grandmother actually had that, but I can't remember the name of it either.
Michael Jackson had that too.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't realize that. But it could be a multitude of different things. But you just kind of roll with the punches. You don't bring it up, but it bothers you every day. To the fact, you're buying, a wig, or you have surgery to fix your lip, and even though if you have like, a cleft lip and you get it repaired, you're still wondering if people are looking, or staring, or judging. I think that's the biggest problem is. Nobody wants to be judged by anybody, but
we're our biggest, we're our biggest critics. Like, we're so judgmental on ourselves.
Yeah, we are.
The condition, I just looked it up. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I might totally butcher it, but it's called vitiligo. It's
I don't know.
Vitiligo.
Sure.
Fun fact.
Google it.
Yeah, Google it. Yeah, so I think one of the things that's interesting about body dysmorphia is how differently it can affect people.
Yeah, for me personally, mine is body, not body, but weight.
Right.
Mine is mostly weight. And I'm always focusing on, losing weight and, getting my weight down. And I don't want to be perceived as lazy or fat or that person that just looks terrible. Even though I really don't care about what people think, I just don't want to be perceived as that. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, I don't really care if anybody sees me as being, like, fat and lazy. But I just don't, myself, I don't want to be putting myself out in the world as, like, oh, look at that fat sack of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, I think just fat doesn't really look good. I mean, like, being overweight, it's unhealthy and it's unattractive. Like, sorry, Lizzo. It's okay. She'll be on board one day.
Yeah. Is it okay with you if I just share, like, where mine kind of started?
Of course.
So, my body dysmorphia, like, I've been thinking a lot about this and trying to pinpoint, like, when it started for me. And I think, like, at a subconscious level, it started when I was very young. And my father has not been in the picture. My biological father is not a good person, and never really wanted to accept that I was his. And one of the things that he told my mom when I was born was that I did not have blonde hair and blue eyes like my sister that's older than me. That's his daughter. So I couldn't be his. So I grew up thinking like something's wrong with me because I have very dark hair and very dark brown eyes. So I always felt like I don't look how I'm supposed to look. I should have blonde hair and blue eyes like my sister. Maybe if I had that, my dad would accept me. And then I would even and I remember elementary school, someone told me I had black hair, and I was so offended by that. And I'm like, I do not have black hair. I have dark brown hair, which is so silly. But like as a child, like that really affected me. And then another part of that is like my mom always said that I get my freckles from my dad. I have a lot of freckles. My father's Scot-Irish and very much has that appearance. And so as long as I can remember, like I've always enjoyed makeup, but I really liked to wear foundation because I would cover up my freckles because I didn't want to look like him. I didn't want anyone to think that I looked like my father. So I struggled with just literally my freckles, which would always like pop out more in the summer when I get some sunlight on them. But that also like, the next step of that for me was I was in elementary school. I was very young. I was a little skinny thing, but I had really bad asthma, and I got really sick, and I was on steroids for a very long extended period of time. And one of the effects on that for me was weight gain. And the kids are kids, and they notice things like that, and they like to pick on other kids. It's just part of being a kid. Like I don't hold any resentment towards them now, but I got picked on for it, which, already struggling with self-esteem issues just plummeted my self-image. And I got very depressed as a very young child. And then going into my teen years, I had a condition called polycystic ovarian syndrome, which my body was insulin resistant, made it very harder to, like even that much harder to lose weight. So that started my struggle with weight, and it has been a lifelong struggle. So I have struggled with body dysmorphia, honestly, for most of my life. So it's kind of been a lifelong journey for me.
Right.
Now, as an adult, I have healed a lot of like my relationship with my father is pretty much non-existent, but I have accepted the fact that I look the way I look, and there's nothing wrong with the way that I look. When it comes to like my freckles, my hair color, my eye color, like I accept that is who I am. I am beautiful the way that I am. So I still, enjoy makeup, but I don't have the mindset anymore of like, I've got to cover this so no one thinks I look like my father. Like that part of me, luckily, has evolved and healed, but I very much still struggle with my self-image as far as my weight goes.
Right.
So a little background on me. That is what has started my struggle with dysmorphia.
Yeah. Well, growing up, I've always kind of been a big kid. I was a big baby. I mean,
big boy.
I was a fat baby. 9 pounds, 9 ounces.
Your poor mama.
Yeah. So growing up, I was always, being picked on because I was that fat kid. I mean, I can even remember kids throwing like food at me in the cafeteria.
What?
Yeah. Middle school. I fucking hated it. And I understand why, like, kids say that they hate school. So if you're out there and you're going through this, make sure you say something to somebody, because it's not right. And I can only imagine nowadays being in school with how politically correct you got to be. Yeah, so I got into, I guess, kind of weightlifting late. Backtrack a little bit. So I was always the fat kid in high school. I shot up like a weed, and of course, you thinned out. And then after high school, I started gaining a little bit of weight, and then, I started getting into, more into like weightlifting and stuff like that. I also started getting into mixed martial arts and stuff like that, but just the crap I had to deal with like through middle school and growing up as a kid, always being picked on and being called ugly and fat. It doesn't help, you being semi redheaded with freckles.
It's
and,
my ginger man.
Being picked on, and it's something I still struggle with today. I went through I got divorced and lost myself, but I mean, it wasn't because I was like heartbroken. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just kind of like, you just lose yourself. You don't know like who you are, what you want to do, and you get lost, and then,
kind of uproots like everything that you thought your life was going to be.
Right. And dealing with, constantly back and forth body dysmorphia. it just didn't get any better. Gaining weight, gaining weight, losing weight. Then, the really bad breakup with my ex-fiance. I lost a lot of weight because it was unhealthy, like the way I lost weight. Because I wasn't, I was eating, but I wasn't like eating. And then I've blown back up over the past several months, but I don't know why I've given up or gave up on myself this past time, because life is good. I'm happy. Honestly, I think it was before we started doing this diet and everything. When we were going to the gym, like I was like getting upset because when I was working out, like I was still feeling like aches and pains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like especially my right shoulder, like from where I tore my rotator cuff, and then like elbow and stuff, and then knees. But now, when we've been going to the gym, it's been different because I don't know, something about having like low inflammation, and I guess I was just full of inflammation, but I'm feeling a lot better. I am down in weight, thank God.
I'm so glad you said that, because I've been noticing it, and I've mentioned it a couple times, and you're always like, I don't know. But I can see it. Like, yeah. I already see improvement, and we're like, what are we, 3 weeks in?
Yeah, and I'm feeling a lot better. The older clothes are fitting better, thank God. Even though I've got this new thing where I'm wearing like 2 and 3X shirts. I don't know why. Like I'm just liking. I'm digging the baggy clothes. Honestly, I think it kind of deals with body dysmorphia. It gives you the image of you look a little bit more thinner because the clothes are bigger.
Or fitting big.
Yeah. But it's kind of the style. Unfortunately, I'm not trying to be like the cool kids. For fuck's sake, I'm 35. I'm not trying to. Fit in like I'm 20, but I guess it's a lot of influence from a lot of the deathcore, death metal scene. It's kind of the look right now. Dad hats, big shirts, short shorts. It's just how it is. But
you like
it makes
what you
me
like,
feel,
whether it's in style or not. If it makes you feel good, then.
But it helps with the way I feel about myself.
Yeah.
I'm getting back around to it. So I'm not saying that you should wear skimpy outfits and whatever makes you feel good, but if you need to change your look, don't be afraid to change your look.
Yeah.
If it will help with the body dysmorphia or help you with your flaws or help you with whatever makes you feel uncomfortable about going out in public. Fuck, if you want to wear a hoodie all year round because it makes you feel good, I understand. That's kind of why I'm still addicted to hoodies. You know that. I have a lot of fucking hoodies.
Yeah, you do.
And it stems from being a bigger kid.
Yeah. Because
I always wore hoodies because they made me feel better about myself.
Right. It's like ingrained in you almost.
Yeah, it's a bad habit. Well, it's not a bad habit. It's a comfortable habit.
Yeah, it's a comfort zone thing.
Yeah. It's just nothing because you can throw on a hoodie and it just it's something about it that it's almost like a comfort blanket or something like that.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, I get it. That was one of the points I wanted to get on was about like clothing, like baggy versus tight clothing. Because that's a really real thing for people who struggle with body dysmorphia when it comes to their weight or their size. So that has actually evolved a little bit for me, or flipped on its head for me. So when I was a bigger girl, I very much was like, I preferred to wear baggy things because it was kind of, like you said, it's kind of I felt like it made me feel better about myself. I felt like I didn't look the size that I was if my clothes fit a little bit baggier. But since losing all the weight, I have noticed now, which is so strange to me, but I've noticed now, like, if I'm wearing baggier clothes, I feel like I look bigger. So I'm more inclined to wear something that fits me tighter so people can actually see the size that I am underneath the clothes. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Which is weird. But then also sometimes when I'm having a bad body day, so that's what I call it, a bad body day. I'm like really struggling. I love that you have figured out about me that something about wearing your shirt brings me peace and like makes me feel good. It brings me, I don't know, it's just like, this is my man, so I just feel comfy and safe. And so I'll often wear one of your shirts, and it just makes me feel better.
I want to comment on that real quick. Because, I mean, I think it's great that I can just give you a shirt and you feel better about yourself. But I want to touch briefly on women that say that they don't need a man. Okay. But yet there is now a new style of shirt called boyfriend fitted t-shirts.
Even jeans. There's boyfriend jeans.
Okay. Yet you're wearing them, but you don't need a man, but you want that from another man. I'm just saying. I mean, you wish you had a boyfriend if you buy stuff like that specifically. Yeah. you get it for free, but I'm just saying. I just think it's funny.
For free from my man.
Yeah. Sorry, little sidetrack.
That's funny. No, I love that. That's so funny. Actually, that's an interesting perspective. Yeah. I will not be ashamed to say that, like, I enjoy you. I am so grateful for you. I will never be the girl. I was like, I don't need no man.
Right.
I mean, of course, like, I could survive without you. Like that. Like, of course I could. But I enjoy you, and I enjoy our life, and I enjoy having a partner.
Absolutely. I feel the same too. But,
I'm emotional today.
But to flip back on body dysmorphia, it's actually flipped for me, kind of, a little bit. I used to wear like tighter stuff because I wanted to feel like you feel, but now I'm kind of like flipped. I want to wear baggier stuff because now it kind of makes me feel better.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting how like something that worked for us in the past, like it's like the opposite now?
Yeah.
That's interesting. So like you were saying though, like if you need to change your style to feel better, like to see yourself in a better light, then like do that.
Right.
Experiment with different things.
And I mean, I just went through and like bagged up or toted up, however you want to put it, a lot of stuff because this is going to sidetrack a little bit, but still stay on point. There's some stuff that I wanted to, like, I'm not really under the same beliefs anymore. Or I'll just go ahead and say it. Fuck it. I mean, so some of the shirts would be considered more conservative. Okay. Like, you know, it has like Patriot on it or, you know, grunt style shirt and stuff like that. And honestly, I'm just kind of to the point where I don't want to be affiliated with either side. And I don't want to wear something out in public that is going to get me criticized or...
Like someone could just like look at your shirt and make an assumption about
make an assumption about who I am and be totally wrong.
Right.
Not saying that I care about what other people think. I just want, like, when you put yourself into the world, I want the world to see me for who I am. I don't want it to be affiliated with, you know, something I don't believe in where they're going. I don't believe in where they're standing. Like, their morals and values is changing just like the left. And whether they want to admit that or not, that's up to them. But I see it, and I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Because I've kind of been more conservative my adult life, because anybody that says, "Oh, I've been conservative my whole life." No, you're not. You're a fucking kid. You played in mud and shit your pants. You didn't know anything about politics until you probably get into late teens, early 20s, if you're lucky. But hence, if you need to like change your style up or make yourself feel better, don't be afraid to change.
Mm-hmm.
Because fuck everybody. So
I hear our babies.
I hear them too. If you hear any weird background noises, A, we got 5 dogs. B, we're getting the grass cut right now. So apologies, but yeah. So don't be afraid to change.
Yeah,
is pretty much what I'm getting at. Because if you deem it necessary, then it's necessary.
Yep.
Like, don't force yourself to do something you don't want to do. Like, you know, if you force a fart, you're gonna shit your pants. That's what my grandpa always told me. So don't shit your pants.
I love some grandpa logic.
Yeah.
Something also that both you and I do, that I think is really common with body dysmorphia is if we're having a struggle day, a little bit on the struggle bus, we change our clothes a lot because nothing feels right, nothing looks right, and it just takes us a while to find what is going to make us comfortable.
Yeah, I do that often, but I'm finding myself doing it less because of how I've done changed my style up some.
Yeah, I've noticed that too about you.
So,
actually,
I mean, whatever you got to do to make yourself feel better. I think that's the key to dysmorphia is accepting yourself and being comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's your 2 key things that you've got to figure out with body dysmorphia is acceptance and damn, I just went blank. Acceptance and being comfortable.
Comfortable, yeah.
Being comfortable. You also need to throw in there about not giving a fuck what anybody thinks.
Yeah, you've got to let that go. Like, you've got to let go of other people's
Other
perceptions
people cannot
and opinions
dictate
of you.
what you do in life.
Yeah.
I mean, do you let other people pick your food? Do you let other people pick what car you drive? Do you let other people
some people
pick
do
your music?
when it comes to cars. Like, they are so wrapped up in other people's perception of them that they're like, well, I can't drive this car because they'll think that that I'm a cheap ass, or I can't drive this car because they'll think that I just I just care so much about my image and I have this fancy car for looks. Like, some people do care about that, which is so silly to me. Like, who cares what you drive? Like, drive what makes you happy.
But I picked my Chevy because of my grandpa. He hated Ford.
Oh, that's funny. That's cute.
Like, he hated Ford. Honestly, I don't really see the difference in the two, but I drive a Chevy because it's what my grandpa drove.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's so cute. I drive a Toyota. You know why?
Why?
Because it's a very reliable car and it gets great gas mileage.
Right.
It just happens to also be a little bit cute because it's a sport.
Yeah.
But I did it because I wanted to put my money. I wanted to invest my money in something that I knew was going to have a long reward.
Right.
So when I was looking for a car, I didn't want to pick something because, oh, this is a really cute car, but in 2 years from now, I'm going to be replacing the transmission.
Right.
Or I'm going to have, like, this issue and this issue. Like, Toyotas are reliable.
Right.
And I wanted to have something that I knew was going to be safe and reliable, gets great gas mileage, and just happens to also be pretty cute.
Yep.
So I'm actually proud of myself for that decision in life.
Yeah. It's worked out for you so far. But, yeah, don't let other people dictate your life.
Yep.
Because you'll get to the point where you wake up one morning and you don't know who you are.
Yep.
And as far as dysmorphia goes, jumping back to that, yeah, fuck what anybody else thinks. Like, because they don't, like, if you're let's just scenario. So say you're the person that has a dysmorphia, whatever it may be. If you have somebody that, I don't know, you like get under your skin or like it bothers you, okay, would you take advice from this person? No? If you wouldn't take advice from that person, you shouldn't take criticism from it.
Amen. Absolutely.
So, fuck them, their criticism, and their negativity.
That's right.
if you are a very strong-willed person that has some kind of dysmorphia, but you don't take, criticism from anybody, you don't take, you don't let people dictate your music, you are your own person, then don't let them dictate how you feel about your dysmorphia.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have no right to make you feel bad about something.
Mm-hmm.
And especially like if it's a physical thing that you can't change, don't let them make you feel bad about it.
Right.
Because you can't do anything about it. It just shows how much of a shitty person they are.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it's a weight thing, you can change that.
Right.
You can change the weight thing. Like, you might still have problems after you lose the weight and everything like that, which it happens. You're gonna deal with that, but it's okay because you're not alone. You deal with this dysmorphia the best way you can. I don't think it really ever goes away, honestly, because I've seen professional bodybuilders that look like fucking statues talk about how they wake up and they look at themselves in the mirror and they're not happy.
Yeah.
And it's fucking nuts, and you look like a fucking Greek god.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because, so my body dysmorphia when it comes to my weight has shifted so much. And like, that's something I realized recently when I was looking through old pictures of myself, looking at pictures of my old self now, I'm like, holy shit balls. I knew I was big. I knew I had a problem. I knew I was way overweight, but I did not recognize how bad it was. Like, I did not see myself. I saw myself as big. I was super unhappy with it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I hated my body, but I still I was not fully aware of how big I really was and what I really looked like.
Right.
Which sometimes I still look at those pictures and it hurts my heart to realize like how much I put my body through. But now, like, I have lost over 180 pounds and I'm in the best shape I've been in my entire life. But now it's so weird because I see myself bigger and then when I look in the mirror than what I actually am. So now when I see pictures of myself today, I'm like, that's not me. I'm not that skinny. Mm-hmm. What? That's not me. I don't look like that. It's the weirdest like flip flop. But like also talking about that, like you had mentioned, sometimes when you lose weight, like your body changes. So like losing that much weight for me came with, for anyone that loses as much as I lost, I have a lot of like loose skin now because it's only going to retract so much, right?
Right.
And that's something that going into this, I knew would be a reality. But, and it's funny because I heard people talk all the time about like, you got to be really careful about like body dysmorphia because your body's going to change so much. And I'm like, oh, I won't struggle with that. Little did I know I was already struggling with it. But that has totally been a reality for me. So like I actually was talking to my doctor when I was getting some help for my mental health when it comes to like depression and anxiety. And I've seen this doctor since I was 18 years old. I'm 31 now. And he was saying like, oh my gosh, Leanna, like, I'm so proud of you. Like, look how far you've come. And I'm just like, yeah, but like, look at this. And like, I was showing him like my insecurities about the loose skin that I have, which actually like, I will say I'm so fortunate because it could be so much worse.
Right.
And I have seen, like, I have some really close friends of mine that are on this journey too. And they, have a lot more of the loose skin. And like, I feel very fortunate that I am where I am, but I still have it. And my mind sometimes will hyper focus on that. And I was telling him about that and just being really transparent with him. And he was like, he's like, it breaks my heart that you have come so far and you should be so damn proud of yourself. And you can't even see it because all you see are your flaws. Like that really hurts my heart for you. So like one thing that I am aware of is that luckily I can fix it. I can have surgery to remove the extra skin that doesn't belong on me anymore.
Right.
And like I tell you a lot, like I just want my body to look like it's supposed to look like. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to like go get a BBL that's going to make my butt like the size of Lizzo's. But I just want to look like I'm supposed to look like. Like I've put all this work in, and all I can focus on is to stay in loose skin. And I do have days that are better than others, but like that's a reality for me that I struggle with almost every day is like looking in the mirror and like my mind knows like, God, like you have came a long way, girl. Like you should be so proud of yourself. But then this other part of my mind is like hyper focused on the flaws. So that's a struggle that I work through every single day. But I recognize that it's my mind lying to me and like making things worse than what they are. And I have to like, when I have those moments, I have to be like, okay, I need to silence that part of my brain because I have put the work in.
Yeah.
I have worked so hard to get where I am now. And I should be proud of that. And I am proud of that. So it's like I have to, like when I have those moments of like my demons yelling at me, I have to be very conscious and try to silence them. And remind myself of who I am, the hard work that I've put in, that I am in a really healthy spot. And really that's what matters, is just being healthy.
Right. Well, the thing is that you have put in the work and like you've found help. And unfortunately, that's the problem with some people is that they haven't taken the steps that you've taken.
Yeah.
And you need to do that. You need to, if you're listening to this, you need to find your options, find what works for you. There's nothing wrong with, having the surgery to make yourself healthier. Like,
Yep.
And I mean, as far as like the dysmorphia with the loose skin and everything like that, I mean, even when you have the surgery, you're probably still going to find flaws, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad you said that. That was the point I wanted to make, was like I know when I have my skin removal surgery, there's still going to be something because I've struggled with dysmorphia my whole life. Not my whole life, the majority of my life though. So I know there's like my mind's going to find something to pinpoint and be like, well, this could be better. But I think being aware of the fact that it's dysmorphia helps to overcome it.
Right. And it'll also help you to that you know that you're like that, so that when things like that do come, the situation will be easier to handle.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I know after because when I had my open heart surgery, that's when I gained. That's one of the seasons or sessions, whatever you want to call it, when I gained weight, because they told me you couldn't do mixed martial arts anymore, you couldn't go to the gym anymore, do what you wanted. Like,
I'm just curious, did they say anymore? Did they mean like for a certain amount of time or like indefinitely?
They told me to never lift over 5 or 10 pounds.
Ever?
Ever.
Wow.
Yeah, they said because it would be too much strain on your heart. Yeah.
That's crazy.
They said your best bet is to maybe walk around. They said not to do a lot of cardio and stuff like that because of the heart condition. And I went into a depression and I blew up. I blew up and out. And this is when I was engaged. And it didn't help because I shut down, I shut off, and I shut people out. And it's like every wrong thing you could possibly do, I did. And then I kind of got to the point where I was like, fuck this. Like, I'm going to start going to the gym. I'm going to like get back in this routine. I'm gonna start, if it kills me, it kills me, because I'd rather die feeling better about myself than to die miserable and depressed.
Do you feel like, okay, well, first of all, it's a little bit odd to me that they told you like that indefinitely. Like, obviously, you probably shouldn't have done that for a certain amount of time until your body fully healed.
Right.
But, I mean, being active is so important for your heart health.
Right. Which kind of, okay. So after they told me, of course you had so many months where I had to heal and I couldn't do anything.
Right.
And then I asked when, like, can I go to the gym? They told me to not lift heavy weights anymore. Mm-hmm. It's bad for me. Yeah.
But imagine, like, if you had not listened to your own body and what you need, like, where would you be now? Like,
well, I mean, that led to one of the darkest times in my life. Like being depressed, hating my body every day, waking up, it was pretty much, I ain't gonna say, yeah, it was probably like one of the lowest times, because like that's when me and my ex separated and was still living in the house together.
God, which that had to have been hard.
That was a fucking nightmare. Because we didn't have extra bed or anything either.
Wow.
Yeah. That's, and dealing with the dysmorphia and hating myself and my job and my situation is what led to me trying to kill myself. I mean, like, it was pretty rock bottom, honestly. But that was the result of me not taking situations into my hand and handling situations like I should. Like, mm-hmm. I didn't reach out to nobody. I shut down. I let my demons win. And then after that suicide attempt, after we finally split up and everything, I moved out. That's when I started reaching out to my friends.
Yeah.
And I knew that things can get better and things happen for a reason. So I started focusing on me. I made little things like, okay, I'm not going to let like my demons get the best of me. So I was like, all right, I'm, living on a couch right now. I hate my body. I hate my life. So I need to fix these things. And I did. I'll go more into this when we talk about the divorce mm-hmm. and stuff like that. But with the body dysmorphia, it got better because I was losing weight during this time period. Not the best way, but it's not like I was starving myself. It was mm-hmm. more, I was probably in a very severe calorie deficit.
Yeah.
Because I was working for FedEx, and I was honestly, that's probably the best I've looked since being married, and I got addicted to the lifting heavy weights. But my thing is, and what I'm getting to, is it was the lowest weight I got to. It's probably the best I ever looked. Like, you could almost see ab definition, and I still had body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
I still felt fat. I still felt like I could be skinnier. I still felt like I could be thinner. And the thing is, now I'm trying to get to where I was.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get there. But the thing I'm going to keep in my mind this time is that when I get there, it's what I wanted, and I didn't realize it's what I wanted. And I'm going to keep and stay there. But remember that you worked the right way for it.
Yeah.
And to celebrate the victory of when you get there.
Mm-hmm.
And realizing that you do look good.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of glad that I did gain weight after losing the weight, because now I'm grateful, or will be grateful when I get to that point.
It's a great perspective, babe.
So,
yeah.
Even if you have body dysmorphia, even if you fall off the horse, you can still get back on the horse.
That's right.
There's nothing wrong with that. You're not the only person that falls off. We all fall off.
Yep.
Like, say you went on a 5-month diet plan and you had one bad cheat day. That one bad cheat day doesn't change the 5 weeks or 5 months progress you've made.
Right.
Start again tomorrow. It's okay.
Right.
Like, it's not the end of the world. Don't throw your hands up. Like, fuck it. You know, I done broke it. No, it's okay. Start again tomorrow.
Yep. And I think that's what a lot of people do, is like they make one little mistake and they forget about all of the good decisions and good things that they've done, and they hyper focus on that one little mistake that they made, and then they just throw their hands up and say, well, I fucked it all up, so I might as well just keep going down this rabbit hole. But you have to remind yourself of all the progress that you've made, all the good decisions that you've made, and just accept, okay, I messed up. All right, I'm going to do better tomorrow. Right. And just get back on it.
Like, one day doesn't take away 5 weeks or 5 months of progress. Mm-hmm. And that's with alcohol too.
Yeah.
Just because you relapsed one time doesn't take away all the great progress that you've made. Mm-hmm. You can start again tomorrow. Like, learn from your one mistake.
Yeah.
Like, you can't lose if you learn. That's one thing that I got put in my head a long time ago. Nothing is a loss if you turn it into a lesson.
Oh, I love that. Nothing is a loss if you turn it into a lesson.
And that's how you grow. Like, you can't grow without making mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, it's impossible. Like, you've got to fuck up in order to grow, because that's how you learn what to do and what not to do.
Yeah. Man, you're throwing out some bangers.
I mean, this is just life lessons. I mean, I have
life
fucked
lessons
up.
With James.
I have fucked up, but my fuck ups I'm grateful for, because it's made me into the better version of myself that I am now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, like, I have bad days, but I don't have bad days that often. For the most part, you know, I'm very positive. Try to be productive as possible, but, you know, when you're at home, you want to be at home. I mean, we've built a great home, so
yeah, it's nice to enjoy it.
Yeah,
work so hard on it.
Yeah, you know, and you know, as far as dealing with the body dysmorphia, you've got to, if you arm yourself, you're more prepared to battle. If you go in to battle and you don't have anything armed with or no weapons, you're doomed to fail. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much the dysmorphia part, is that you've got to arm yourself with positivity and knowing that you are better than what you are trying to put yourself down as, and you've got to use your progress as your weapons to battle those demons. But you've also got to know that they're not going anywhere, but you're not going anywhere.
Yeah. You have to remember too, like your mind is lying to you.
Yeah. And I mean, the mind can be a very, very bad and dark place, unfortunately. But you're better. You're better than that. You will be better than that. And it sucks starting the progress. Like, it's never easy when you first start.
Mm-hmm.
If it was easy, everybody would do it. You got to keep that in mind.
Right.
If going to the gym was as easy as eating a pack of Twinkies, everybody would be in the gym.
Yeah.
Like, but you've got to take your life and by the hands, and you've got to like grind it at first. And then when you start making the progress, acknowledge the progress.
Yeah.
Like, celebrate your victories. Sorry, I'm going to have to steal that one from Andy from Norse. You've got to celebrate your victories.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you'll focus on the negatives.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guilty of it. You're guilty of it.
Mm-hmm.
We're all guilty of it. But if you start acknowledging your victories, your negativity goes down. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm starting to look at my weight's going down. I'm feeling better. I'm happier, healthier, and I've got to acknowledge that I am making progress.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, it's easy to slip up and say, fuck this.
Right. Yeah. So there's one thing that I think is really common with people who have body dysmorphia that is also, like, for people who don't have it, kind of, what's the word? Like, they misjudge it. So, okay, one thing that's very common for people who struggle with body dysmorphia is checking themselves in the mirror.
Yeah.
And, like, anytime there's a mirror, they're looking. From an outside perspective, people could look at that and be like, oh, they're so conceited. They just love looking at themselves. When really, it is the opposite. It is so much more of a, do I look okay? Is anything out of place? Like, it's like, I gotta make sure that nothing looks wrong. Like, it's coming from a place of actually, like, I don't want to look bad. Like, is anything wrong with me? Like, it's not a, like, oh, I love the way I look. It's literally quite the opposite.
Right. Yeah. So, people, you're saying, almost look at them like they're conceited versus seeing the dysmorphia of the problems that they've got going on in their head. Like, they're trying to be perfect, but you think, or they would think that they're trying to be perfect, but in their eyes, they're just trying to look good.
Well, yeah. I just think, like, people have the assumption when they see someone looking in the mirror that they are loving to look at themselves, and they love the way they look, and they're just conceited. And I think usually people with body dysmorphia actually hate the way that they look, and they're looking in a mirror just to make sure that nothing's out of place or nothing, like, you know, that they look okay. Yeah.
Not looking like
like
what they feel.
Right. Yeah.
I made a quick note. I think it's also important for the ones that are, their body dysmorphia more focuses on losing weight, because I think that's the majority of body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Is weight, because, I mean, most of America's fat because the system's built like that.
Right.
Because of all the unhealthy foods that we serve and push down people. Like, I would never, ever take my kid to a fast food restaurant these days.
Right.
Like, if we had a kid, no. I will fucking take them to Walmart, buy them a toy, and cook them something.
Yeah.
Like, not doing it.
We'll do an at-home Happy Meal.
Or I will take them to McDonald's and just buy the toy, because you can just buy the toy.
Really?
Yeah, you can. It's a little expensive. I did it with Mario a long time ago.
That's funny. I didn't know that.
But yeah. Anyway, back on the
Squirrel.
Yeah, car. So I think a lot of people start focusing on the number when they're losing weight, and not looking at the physical aspect, because you will physically change and the number can fluctuate, can go down or it can go up or stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're losing weight the right way, you're getting rid of the fat, but you're gaining muscle.
Right.
And muscle weighs more than fat.
Right.
So that's why your numbers may fluctuate. You need to be visually looking at yourself and noticing yourself. Take before and after pictures. I know it sucks. I hate it. I can't stand doing it, but I'm doing it. But I also notice I'm looking at myself and analyzing, like, okay, my waist has gone down. My man boobies have gone down. My moobs are looking better. But the scale, it has gone down, because for some reason the only time I weigh myself at work, and I work at a prison, so it's almost no difference in all the crap I wear than a police officer. So I've got probably a good 5 pounds worth of shit on me.
Gosh, your boots alone, I feel like, are 5 pounds.
Yeah, I know. But I've noticed, like, when we first started, I stepped on the scale, and I was like, with all my stuff on, I was at like 284, and I stepped on a scale last day I worked this week, and it was 270.
Hell yeah, baby.
It was like 272, 270, something like that.
Yes.
It was majorly down. And
we are going to celebrate that win.
Yeah. So I'm feeling better, and I know that the number doesn't really reflect it, but because this time I'm not really keeping up with the number, because if you focus on a number, you'll get disheartened really quick.
Right.
I'm more focusing on the physical aspect
and like the way things fit.
And the way things fit. Like I can wear. I'm starting to wear. Oh, I can like wear older stuff that was getting too tight, and now it's starting to fit loose again. Yeah. So I'm keeping that in my mind, that like I'm getting there slowly but surely, and that's probably the most disheartening thing about losing weight, is that it takes time. Right. And you've got to remember, you didn't get fat overnight. Right. You're not going to get in shape overnight. Everybody wants the magic pill. Hang on. There's no magic pill. It doesn't exist.
Unfortunately.
I'm sorry to break it to you, but there's no magic pill.
If only it could be that easy, though.
If only it could be that easy, then everybody would do it. Right. And then nobody would care, and nobody would take pride in it. Right. That's what happens when you have the magic pill. Now, I will say this, that there are some fat burners out there that they do have that does help with the process, but you've got to be dieting and exercising.
Right. You can't be eating donuts and pizza and expect it to work.
Right. Because it just doesn't work like that. I'm sorry to say it. Get rid of your sugars. Get rid of your dairy, I would say. Mm-hmm. I would get rid of gluten. I mean, this is just my perspective from what we're doing. It's working better than it has before. Right. And I don't want to call this a diet, because I think it shouldn't be a diet. It should be a lifestyle change. Right. And to me, this is going to be the lifestyle change moving forward, because I'm very happy with the results. I'm feeling so much better. When I sleep, I sleep. And I normally... That's huge. Yeah. And you need rest, because your body needs to recover so you can burn more fat. Plus, you also burn fat in your sleep. So the longer you're asleep, the more those coals are burning, the more your train's going, and you're losing weight. And when you get in a calorie deficit, that shit just keeps going. Yeah. And then you're going to lose weight. Now, to touch on people that have dysmorphia problems, as far as like maybe missing a limb or shortness, like like one limb shorter than the other, or you might be missing something, cleft lip, like I've said before, glass eye, stuff like that. This is the thing. If you're different, how to put this? If you have one of those, you're special. There's no one that's going to be like you. Take that and grow from it. And if somebody gives you shit, I've always found it easy to make fun of yourself before somebody else can make fun of you, because you take away their ammunition. Yeah. Now, don't believe this shit, don't believe that you're worthless, For instance, I'll give you a scenario. Like when I was, if somebody called me fat, I would tell them, yeah, I'm fat, but good thing that I'm fat, because when your mom's sucking my dick, the belly stops her from choking.
Oh my gosh. I was not expecting that.
Like I said, use it to your advantage. If I said that to somebody that was trying to insult me, and then I threw that back at them, yes, I used what they said calling me fat, but I threw it back at them, and then now what? Now they're going to get mad because of their mama. But now they're probably not going to say anything about my weight, because they realize that it can't faze you. And then once you realize people can't faze you, you'll start building confidence, slowly but surely. Mm-hmm. And it's okay, because, like me growing up and being in special ed classes, I had a problem with that. So once I started making, stupid jokes about myself, the ammunition got taken away. I quit having less problems. Yeah. And that's just one way to go about things. Mm-hmm. But don't believe that you're broken or not special or worthless, because you're not. You're just slightly different. And who knows, because of your disability, it might make you amazing in another aspect.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. Like maybe you have one eye, but in the eye is like 20/20 perfect vision, and maybe you can shoot your ass off. Or you can spot something that somebody else can't. Yeah. Because, your body always picks up where something's not there. Yeah. Like your senses grow in certain areas if something's not there. And in hindsight, just don't let it bring you down. Just remember that you are special, and just work toward yourself mentally every day. Yeah. Tell yourself that you're so lucky and everything works out for you.
That's right.
So, there's my 2 cents.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just want to encourage people, if you're struggling with body dysmorphia, no matter, which aspect of your body is your struggle point, just know that you are not alone. There are so many more people that struggle with it than we even know about, because, like we said earlier, people, for some reason, feel shame or
Maybe if you're a guy, it makes you feel like less of a guy.
Yeah, makes you feel embarrassed. But I just want to encourage you, take that shame away. Be transparent about what you're going through, because people don't know how to help you unless you're transparent. And find your, core group of support people and let them know what's going on. And let them pour into you. Let them love on you.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to reach out to people, neither. Shutting down is the worst possible thing you can do.
Yep, absolutely. And as always, our email is open. If you ever feel like you want to talk to us personally, you can reach out. It's perseverancetoprevail@gmail.com.
Yes.
Yes.
Do we have anything weird in the email?
I don't think so. I think it's just perseverance to prevail.
Okay. Yeah, it's just really long.
It is long.
Yeah, that's what it was. We was trying to make it, and you try to shorten it so it wouldn't be so long, but
it looked silly.
It's okay. It still works.
It still works.
still works. Anything else you'd like to say about body dysmorphia?
No, I think we've covered a lot. Yeah. Just know you're not alone. Reach out to somebody. Try to fill your life with positive. And slowly but surely, your confidence will build.
Yeah. One last little thing is, if whatever your goal is, to lose weight, to get surgery, to fix something, take baby steps, like little baby victories.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure to celebrate them along the way, but you need to take baby steps. You can't just leap forward, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And just remember that, and just keep up with your progress.
Mm-hmm.
That way, when you do get that big victory, it'll seem like even more, because you had all these little victories and this big victory.
Right.
So that's about the only thing I had left.
Beautiful.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to Perseverance to Prevail podcast. I'm James.
I'm Leanna.
Be good. Be safe. Be the best version of you.